Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the virtual velocity of Season 3. We're racing the Porsche Cups with Calypso Racing. Thank you very much to our partners with TTASA and the FIA. Thank you so much to our sponsor as well. Love to have you here, Pappy's Chicken. Love to enjoy the tasty chicken that could be in my mouth one day. But right now, we've got some racing to take care of right now. What's up, Kev Fev says big ups to Pappy's. Of course, big ups to Pappy's. Thank you so much for the love and support for being here in the chat. Really appreciate it. It goes a long way. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff. And the chicken will come to you. Where have we been? Where are we going? Red Bull Ring, Sebring International, Spa-Francorchamps is where we've been. Now, at the halfway point of this championship, we're racing at Monza, Watkins Glen with the boot, Road Atlanta. The series format is Porsche Cup, the 992s, of course, 40-minute sprint race, fixed setups, 40% fuel load, so the drivers are going to be required to take some fuel to make it to the end. Tires, of course, being optional, but of course, all up to the drivers to dictate how they want to fuel save, how they want to play their strategies. We've seen some very interesting strategies this season so far, some involving heavy pushing and some involving some very, very conservative, fuel consumption. Let's check out the prizes for this championship series as well. For the Virtual Velocity Season 3, we have a Stream Deck Mini, and a couple of iRacing gift cards being thrown out there. Thank you very much to Calypso Racing Community and to our sponsors for being able to provide that to our racers. And we're going to have to take a look at the championship standings to see where we fall at the halfway point of this season so far. So stay tuned, grab your popcorn, because it's about to get pretty spicy up at the tip of the spear, the front of the knife. Let's head on over to the main screen because I can hear cars going round and round around the Temple of Speed. Kev Fev even willing to ship me out some Pappies. I'm all the way across the country in the US. Unfortunately, shipping out Pappies to me would be quite the challenge. Really would be challenging. While we wait for the drivers to get their laps in, let's take a look at the championship standings, and then we'll look at the race info as well. Championship standings so far, it's Declan Daniel out in the lead with 63 points, just 1 point ahead of Jaden Harrison in P2, a driver that is no slouch in his own right, and he's back in action tonight. I didn't see him in the practice session, so I was worried he wasn't going to show, but he's back here running around P4, as it were, but without the practice session to really rein it in, I wonder how comfortable Jaden Harrison is around Monza. But besides the point, let's talk about Peter Arundel, who's only 3 points back from the championship lead, and he's got 60 points to his name. Andrew Marsan holding down 4th place, the best of the rest position with 50 points. Then we have Benson Day in 5th. Scott Pinero, I almost said Pinarino again. Scott Pinero in 6th. Dominic Charles in 7th. Adam Pinero, the good-looking brother of Scott, with 38 points in 8th. Michael Ross in 9th. Amar Hossain in 10th. Shahinder Singh in 11th. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that properly. Monet Dupoy in 12th. Matthew Lazari in 13th. Lewis Ramilton in 14th. Orlin Ochoa in 15th. Nigel Pollard in 16th. And Emmanuel Ramirez in 17th with 5 points. So as you can see, it's quite spicy for the top 3 podium positions. You got Declan Daniel, Jaden Harrison, and Peter Arundel separated by only 3 points amongst the 3 of them. Then we have Andrew Marsan, who's 13 points down, but he still has a shot to get himself an iRacing gift card. Silver Turkey, someone was kind enough to message me about the pronunciation of Sahinder Singh. And of course, I can't even get my own people's name right. I assume Sahinder Shahinder is Indian. Because Singh is a very common Indian last name, but of course, I haven't managed to butcher that one up. So my apologies to Shahinder. Thank you very much, Kev Fev. Pronunciation's on point, he says. Let's take a look at the race details, shall we? Looking at the race details, we're at the Temple of Speed, folks. And speed it shall be with a full throttle, about 85% of the lap track length of 3.6 miles. Founded in 1922, it's the current layout from the early 2000s. Located in Monza, Italy. We got 11 turns, 4 to the left, 7 to the right. 43 feet of elevation change, or 13 meters. We have a 0.7 mile long straightaway, or 1.1 kilometers. And we're full throttle for about 85% of the lap, as I said earlier. 75 degrees, or 85 degrees for the humidity, and 70 degrees Fahrenheit for the temperature. Clear skies, 4 miles per hour is going to be the crosswind. Let's talk about some keys to the race, folks. Slipstream strategy. Not only during the race is it going to be important, but during the qualifying session, trying to get that slipstream secured. It'll be draft city down the long straights, meaning slipstream can make or break your lap in qualifying and the race condition. Catching a toe down the main straight or Curva del Serraggio can gain up to 0.3 to half a second per lap. Key number 2, be brave under the brakes. With 3 of the heaviest braking zones in motorsport, turn 1, turn 4, and turn 8 of Ascari, brake performance and stability will be crucial. You have to perfect the trail braking and a stable rear end are going to be key to keeping the car straight and maximizing corner entry speed. And of course, number 3, perfect the curbs. The chicanes, especially Retifilio and Raggia, require you to attack the curbs without unsetting the car or unsettling it. Too much aggression, you risk bottoming out. Too little, and you'll lose momentum. The key is to take the first curb cleanly to set up the second one. And those are the keys to victory this week at the Autodromo Internazionale Monza. Let's see what the drivers are up to and if they've set some qualifying times, and they sure have. We have 1 second separating the top 9 drivers right now as the 81 of Amr Hossein spins out. I believe that'll be Curva Parabolica, and we have none other than Mr. Jaden Harrison with 2 purple sectors attached to his name as he comes down into Ascari. 3 purple sectors for Jaden Harrison. Oh, and a big attack of the curbs, and that's exactly what we're talking about, folks. What the drivers need to avoid during the race session. Find a little bit too much of that inside curbing, and it'll unsettle the car and truly demoralize your chances. Declan Daniel finds himself with a good time, a 150.027. This time of asking. That'll be lap 3 for him. Personal best lap there, and he's only a 10th and a bit slower than Jaden Harrison right now, who is headed to pit lane with just a minute to go left in qualifying, folks. So we have just a hair left in this qualifying session. Can anybody challenge Jaden Harrison? One of the things we do need to talk about, though, and commentators curse already, you gotta get through turn 1 cleanly, right? That has got to be the number 1 priority for all the drivers. There's no making it to the end of the race if you try to be a hero on lap 1, turn 1. So we've got to say that the drivers have got to keep it clean going in towards 1. But how much will they listen to a broadcaster like myself? Probably not very, if at all. So we'll leave it up to them, the experts at the matter, to negotiate that one safely. But I want to hear from the fans, the commentators, or the commentators, the commenters, the chatters. Let's just call you the chatters. How clean will it be going in towards turn 1? 1 for clean, 2 for not clean. Let's get some polls going right now in chat. 7/10 of a second separating the top 10. Benson Sunday, 1.2 off the good. Michael Ross is down in 11th, 2.4 off the good. And it looks like Amir Hossein not doing well right now. 22, says Kev Fev, not going to be clean. Mike is going to go bowling. Someone might go bowling here. And that'll be it for the qualifying run, folks. As the checkered flag is waving, we're still waiting for Dominic Charles to come around for the final time, and Ben Sunday also to come around for the final time. Both of them completing their laps right now. Ben Sunday will be the next one to cross the line, or we're going to call him Benson. In chat calling out Mike cousin Nico Ross. Silver Turkey giving me grief for calling him Benson. It's Mr. Benson. It's distinguished, okay? As we finish up this qualifying session, we're going to get ready to show you the grid in just a few moments' time. We'll get ready for that, as well as the results of the session. And we'll try to get them up on screen as quickly as possible, but we have to wait for all the drivers to finish the session and the drivers to start gridding up before we can show that. So give us just a brief memento, and we'll get right to the grid and the running order. Of course, the qualifying session is going to be the same as the grid layout, so I don't know why I show both, but I'm going to show both anyways. It looks good. We do it all for the fans at home. Jade Harrison has an I rating of 4.1K right now. Declan Daniel with 3.889. Holy Toledo, the strength of field is pretty substantial right now. I'm seeing a lot of drivers kind of around that 2K mark, though. Peter Arundel hovering around 3.3K. As it were. Ben Sunday, the driver we're looking for right now, the 868 from Calypso Racing, has an I rating of 2.8K. Thank you, Stream Elements, for the reminder. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff, folks. And we'll go ahead and show the results of the session. Jade Harrison topped the charts with a 149.882. Declan Daniel, less than a tenth away from that pole position time just at the end of the session. Andrew Marsan in P3, 2/10 down. 3/10 back is going to be Peter Arundel. Another 3/10 back, nearly 4/10 back, will be Shahinder Singh in the number 16. Dominic Charles, 5/10 back, almost 6/10 back. Scott Pinero, privateer, running 6.62 back. Adam Pinero, we're going to see a battle between the Pinero brothers again, and he is 7/10 back. Bonet Duploy, Olin Ochoa, Ben Sunday, Michael Ross, and Amir Hossein. I think we're ready to go grid. And we are green, 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 folks. That was very quick grid. Leading down in towards turn number 1 leads the charge of Jaden Harrison. And looking further down the pack, we're trying to find out if there's any kerfuffles happening coming in towards turn 1. But it's all clean for all of the drivers. Holy Toledos are out, folks. It is clean as a whistle. No harm, no foul between anybody amongst the grid. And it looks like Declan Daniel is losing out a ton of positions, tumbled all the way down into P13 after a great qualifying run. He's 11 positions back. Did he have a pit lane start? Must have been. Check the timing tower to see if there's any incidents that came up for Declan Daniel at the time. I'm not seeing anything that come up for Declan Daniel. I wonder why he started at the back of the pack. Did someone go off at T2? Michael Ross ended up crashing here. Just checking up on things very quickly as tight pack battling. Scott Pinero with a great start. You're absolutely right about that. Scott Pinero up 2 positions. Let's look at Ben Sunday so far. Benson has gained 5 positions on the good. Declan Daniel is down 10. I'm not seeing anything happen for Declan Daniel. Let's rewind the clock just a brief second. Not as we get ready to go down in towards turn 1 though, because we have a 3-way squabble or a 4-way squabble really brewing up to be the start of something here, leading down in towards turn 1 for the second time of asking. A little bit of a wiggle for Arundel. Marsan and Dominic Charles trailing in behind. Let's look at the Scots really quickly as Scott is about to get by Dominic Charles now. Well, that's Ben Sunday with a big issue, and he is tumbling down the order by quite a bit. Potentially has a slowdown penalty coming through turn 1. Yes, that had to have been a slowdown penalty for Benson Sunday there. And look at Mornay Dupuy, the charging bull in his home turf, is up 3 positions on the good. And I imagine we're going to see some riffling and rolling from this Red Bull. More off-track penalties rolling across my screen now as the drivers are kind of getting away with murder right now, as Monza is not typically a track limits violation. Whoa, that's a big look from Benson Sunday on Scott Pinero. He looked but didn't touch and didn't go for the move that I thought he was going to go to. What about Oyland Ochoa as he chases down Amir Hossein? Does he go for a move coming into Curva Parabolica? He goes for the look. Doesn't want to jump for it yet as Amir covers him off. There is someone off. Is that Dominic Charles? That is Dominic Charles off at Curva Parabolica. Let's see if we can see what happened to Dominic here. Oh, a big slide for Dominic Charles. Sends him off into the kitty litter and clatters with the tire barrier. And that'll be all she wrote there. Scott Pinero, Mornay Dupuy going after it, coming in down towards turn 1. Scott Pinero, Mornay Dupuy going wheel to wheel through turn 1, and it'll be Scott's success. Mornay having to challenge back, but also looking in the rear view mirror because there is Benson Sunday occupying that mined real estate. Right now, for biggest gainers, it'll be Amir Hossein with 5 positions gained. Benson Sunday with 4, Mornay Dupuy with 3, and Scott Pinero with 2. Just as I say that, Amir loses a position. Benson trying to gain one up the inside on Mornay. Coming around Curva Lesmo 2 now. One second gap between Jaden Harrison and Peter Arundel up at the front. Tip of the spear, the sharp of the knife. But is that gap going to come down significantly? We're hoping it does. Side-by-side action here now with Scott Pinero and Benson Sunday doing really good wheel-to-wheel racing. And Benson showing his stripes right now for Calypso Racing is up 6 positions on the good despite having that slowdown penalty earlier on in his run of things. Mr. Amir following this train of cars, trying to get a look at Curva Parabolica. No leaping faith there. Look at this 5-gaggle train of cars right now, running all nose astern. That'll be Scott Pinero trying to challenge back at Benson coming down in towards turn 1. And we're going to have a 2x2 situation. Oh, and a big send from Amir from way far back. And that'll be rejoin city for him. And he'll rejoin this pack battle. But that was a 3-wide scary mistake for just a second. But everybody coming out cleanly there. We're going to have to get a replay of that one, folks. Hold on to your horses as we get the blimp camera set up for that one. Coming from way downtown, we're about to go 2x2 formation, and then Amr just threads the needle, narrowly avoiding every single car in that battle, goes across the grass and rejoins the tarmac right where he... Unbelievable racecraft from everybody to keep it on a swivel and keep driving the wheels off their vehicles. Monet Dupuy challenging Benson now. Scott Warman, thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for joining us in the chat. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell, all that good stuff. Help us with the analytics and this championship. Don't forget to thank Pappy's Chicken, home of Brian's Fried Chicken. Amr going straight down pit road after that big lockup that he had going down into one. Here's Monet and Benson going side by side, wheel to wheel, but up ahead it'll be Scott Pinero getting challenged, and there is a flying Monet Dupuy torpedo. And that was a huge lockup, and that'll be surely a slowdown penalty for Monet. Holy Toledo, we got more action. There goes Oilen Ochoa defensive on Scott Pinero. I thought that was Benson for a second, but no, they're just in matching liveries. The number 8 leads over the 868 right now, both with 5 positions gained right now. Then we have Scott Pinero of the 833 and the 828 of Adam Pinero. It's kind of just driving all by his lonesome. He's got a 3.4 second gap ahead and a 7.5 second gap back. Coming down the back straightaway into Ascari. It'll be nose to tail for these drivers. The 8 loses out to Benson's 868, and the Calypso Racing drivers, no love lost between friends here. And it looks like Oilen Ochoa has got some rear end damage, succumbed by an incident earlier on in this event, but I can't see where that happened. Moving over to the pit wall as far as possible to try to shake off the slipstream from the cars behind, but it's to no avail. The drivers getting as much drafting done as possible, and who's going to get it better? It'll be Scott early on the brakes to try to make a move up the inside, but we know that the inside line turns into the outside for the following corner, and that's not going to work the long way around through turn 1. Oh, there's a big wiggle out of Scott Pinero. Coming into the second chicane, the Raja chicane. Take a look back at the drivers in 7th and 8th position. This will be Scott Pinero challenging Oilen Ochoa in 6th. And Monet Dupuy, who took off like a torpedo into turn 1 just 1 lap ago, now running in 8th position. Great racecraft, great racing, great entertainment all around. Nowhere else I'd rather be on a Thursday night than running with Calypso Racing. And hopefully you can get yourself into the seat of Calypso Racing Porsche Cup Challenge, the virtual velocity, and try to win yourself some amazing prizes thanks to our sponsors and the Calypso Racing community. If you're interested in racing, look up Calypso Racing on iRacing's look up Calypso Racing on their leagues channel and join up with the Calypso Racing family. Find them on Discord as well. You can find out more about the championship, and the race details are posted weekly there. 121.4, 51.6, 52.3, 51.7, 51.4, 51.7, 51.52. Excuse me. We got some fast runners towards the back of the pack. Declan Daniel and Dominic Charles running into the 50s right now, while everybody else in front is running into the 51s. That's on pace, if not better, than the leaders of this event so far. Best lap going out to Jaden Harrison with a 150.28, and that was set a couple of laps ago. Last lap around was a 150.71. Off track for Jaden Harrison and Peter Arundel on this lap. Orlin Ochoa also getting a off track, probably a slowdown here. And there goes Scott Pinero up the inside of Lesmo 1. And Lesmo 2, he might secure the deal. Monet Dupois is getting boxed in, coming down the back straightaway, has nowhere left to go as the drivers squabble for position. The 8 gets left in the dust, and I believe Scott will carry the speed into Ascari, but the 8 of Orlin Ochoa really challenging to give this one up. The 833 is on the optimal line, doesn't have to attack the curbs for the second part of that chicane, and we've got a gaggle of cars within 1 second of each other. We are going to go 2 by 2 abreast down into Curva Parabolica, and we might even go 2 by 2 by 2 going into Curva Parabolica as the drivers all going to squabble for their own position. Orlin Ochoa loses out not 1 but 2 positions now to his Calypso Racing brethren, driving the outside of Curva Parabolica. The 31 of Declan Daniel making his way through the field, trying to challenge up forward as he had to start from the pits of this event. Oh no, and Monet going way off into the S's. Who is that in front? That'll be Monet, but is that Shahinder Singh? That is Shahinder. Going way off and deep there at turn number 1. Losing it under the pressure with the drivers behind, and Scott Pinero is going to gain advantage there. 16 and the 8 both not having great runs at it right now, getting past left, right, and center. Looking back, Declan Daniel challenging his Calypso Racing compatriots. Dominic Charles, the next one up the list. Orlin Ochoa trying to get some positions back, sees Dominic Charles up ahead as well. Silver Turkey says, oh man, great job staying out of the way though. Absolutely. That's one of the things I love about these community races, is that everybody is not only thinking about their own race, but they're thinking about the drivers around them and making sure to not ruin anybody else's run. I think when you get into larger events, LFM, LMU daily races, you often think about self-preservation, right? Well, I'm trying to preserve my own race and get the least amount of incident points because it's all I care about. Well, in these community races, you're not only worried about that, you're worried about the drivers having a good time at the end of it. If the drivers aren't having a good time out of the end of the day, well, then they won't come back. But you can see this community of drivers continue to grow week after week, and I'm glad to see the numbers stay right around the same throughout this championship. It is a good showing of the community and racing that is available here at Calypso. We got two-way battles here. We have Shahinder chasing down Declan Daniel 0.6 of a second back. Declan Daniel is chasing down Scott Pinero up ahead 0.2 back. And the drafting down the back straightaway sure is helping Declan Daniel right now, and he might go for a late braking move up the inside into Curva Parabolica, or shall he be patient and wait for turn one? I think discretion being the better part of valor here, and he will wait until turn one. He knows he has the overspeed, he knows he carries the momentum on Scott Pinero. The 833 and the 31 are going to go after it into wards one. Scott Pinero can sense that the attack is on its way, tries to cover off the inside. Declan Daniel switches back over, and there's bobbing and weaving from all the drivers coming down into wards one, and Scott covers that one off pretty successfully. But now through turn two, will it be the same order of operations as we see Scott Pinero blink out of existence right now? Will he rejoin in front of all these drivers? It looks like he is out of the race and down into 12th position for Scott. Unfortunate disconnect there. We'll call that a technical failure. Star Just Star says, go Dominic Charles. Give Dominic Charles his mandatory obliged screen time anytime that someone cheers for a driver. We'll give them their obligated screen time, of course. The triple three. Dominic Charles running in 8th place. Started the race off in 6th position due to some unfortunate bumps in the rumps there. You can see the rear end of that vehicle, not necessarily showroom ready, but he's still driving the wheels off of it right now. Orlin Ochoa chasing down Monet Deploy, both drivers where they started this qualifying session in their respective positions, 9th and 10th. Orlin Ochoa has that rear end damage right now. Might go for an attacking move on Monet Deploy coming down in towards turn one, or give him a little bump draft for good measure, leading down into the braking zone of turn one. Late braking opportunity here, but it looks like Monet is latest on the brakes as the optimal line favors his entry, and the Red Bull is off into the sunset of turn three. Curva Grande. Whoa. Tinder and Dominic Charles going wheel to wheel, the Calypso Racing brethren. 16 of Shahinder gets the move done on Dominic Charles. Shahinder actually started the event out in P5, now running in P7. Had a couple of off tracks, lost some ground to the pack battle racing, but now back into the thick of things, chasing down his compatriot of Declan Daniel. Scott Pinero through the pits. He goes right around the 20-minute mark, trying to go for any sort of undercut strategy, and that can benefit him for the remainder of the race if he can make it to the end. Try to gain any time back as humanly possible. Orlin Ochoa and Monet Deploy still going wheel to wheel through Curva Parabolica and towards turn one. Is it Orlin Ochoa's opportunity to attack Monet? He's closer than he has been in a long time. Gives him the kiss of death into the braking zone. But backs out right beforehand, and they're going to run nose to tail, single file, being the order operations through turn one and turn two. Now, through Curva Grande, a lot can be said about the order of operations here. Side by side running is possible, but strongly discouraged. Silver Turkey in chat brings up a good point. I wonder if anybody saved at all. It's very difficult to save here around the Temple of Speed. If anybody did, I guess it would be Andrew Marsan, who's running around 151 flats that last time around, or Adam Pinero, who ran a 151.2 the last time around. Still seeing top speeds around 290, 288, 281 from the drivers up at the front. It's always the Calypso Racing fellows that are up to some fuel saving strategy. And it wouldn't surprise me if Marsan, strike that, Marsan comes down pit lane at the 22-minute mark. Perhaps going for a very short pit stop now as we see Eulen Ochoa go a little bit deep and wide at Curva Parabolica, and we'll have to recover. Marsan tumbles down the order into 6th before pitting out, and keeps on tumbling down the order as more and more fellow keep on passing him by. That was a long pit stop. That was a very long pit stop for Andrew Marsan. Something went terribly wrong. 12.97 second stop. 39.128. Not sure what happened to Marsan there. Get a quick replay of what happened to Marsan in the pits. Did he miss his mark? He's revving the engine and getting going. Everything looks okay for the Marsan camera. I'm not sure what else could have happened there. Tinder has a 13-second pit stop. Maybe that's just as long as we need for the pit stop. Adam Pinero, Benson Sunday stays out. Declan Daniel in through pit road. And we'll keep an eye on these drivers to see the benchmark for their pit stops. Here comes Declan Daniel around Adam. Must mention, what a recovery drive for Declan Daniel to start at the back of the pack and work his way up to where he was. He'll have to do it all over again, though, as we conclude the halfway point of the event, and we're already at 25 minutes past. And we've only got 15 minutes remaining. And we are seeing around 13-second pit stops plus from these drivers. Even Adam Pinero with a 14-second pit stop. That must be just due to the heavy fuel load. No, it just seems that that's how long the pit stops are taking for these guys. Fueling up to make it to the end, apparently, is going to require at least 13 seconds in the box. Andrew Marsan being the shortest pit stop so far, actually, other than Monet Duploy with a 12.73. Jane Harrison coming down pit road now. Peter Arundel also following suit into the pit row. Jane Harrison with that number 1 pit box. Peter Arundel just behind, and you can hear Jaden Harrison rev up his engine and get rearing and ready to go. Arundel following behind. And it looks like those are some pretty good pit stops. Jaden Harrison with 12.8 seconds. Peter Arundel with a 13-second stop. Just a little time lost for Arundel, but he'll re-inherit second place. Marsan into third, a little further back. And then Adam Pinero in fourth. Benson, should he come out in fifth place? I believe he might. Declan Daniel might pass him, though. Coming down pit row is going to be Benson. On the racing line will be Declan, and that'll be position secured for Declan Daniel out in front of his teammate and countryman, Benson Sunday. All drivers making their mandatory pit stops to make it to the end now. It'll be a driver's race to the end with just 12:30 remaining on the clock, folks. Positions gained so far, it'll be Benson with the big 5 next to his name. Next up will be Adam Pinero with 4 gained on the good. Then we have Peter Arundel, who's gained 2. Biggest losses so far will be Shahinder Singh in the number 16. Declan Daniel, who's down 3 from where he started the race in second place. Dominic Charles, and even Scott Pinero with his disconnect. Forgot about that. This is where Jaden Harrison can get into a little bit of trouble. He's out in the lead of this event, but could potentially be privy to some driver errors. We've seen him do it before, and not wishing bad faith upon anybody, but he could fall privy to some driver errors and give Peter Arundel the opportunity that he needs to catch back up. Lap time's very close. That last lap around, a 2:20.15 compared to a 2:19. So Peter Arundel closes down a second between the two of them. This will actually be one of the closest battles on the racetrack right now, other than Declan Daniel and Benson Sunday. You see Andrew Marsan lurking in the background, coming down the back stretch. But he is way far back, 7.3 seconds away from Peter Arundel. Challenging the next 9 minutes and 30 seconds. It will be challenging. It will be grueling. Ben Sunday with a 150.9 sets his personal best of the session on lap 16. Monet Deploy also setting his personal best of 151.25, obviously conserving some of those tires for the second half of the session. Looking at this battle between Jaden Harrison and Peter Arundel, the gap seemingly fluttering around the same, 150.7, 150.8 between Jaden Harrison and Peter Arundel. Gap staying right around 1.8, 1.9 seconds between the two drivers. Now, will lap traffic become an issue in this event? We have Scott Pinero and Amr Hossein down one lap nearly. With 8 minutes left to go, I feel like it would not be. This is going to be very close if we get a bonus lap or not. I believe we will get an additional 1 minute and 50-second bonus lap here. And definitely will get that bonus lap as we're running these 150 laps. We're going to get 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more laps. This one plus 4 more. Here's where Sneaky Pete is doing his thing. He's trying his mightest. He's closed down the gap to 0.7 of a second, presuming that Jaden Harrison had a slowdown penalty to serve on this lap. Giving up a second or so on that previous attempt at things. 150.4 to a 150.31. Gap is closer than it has been in a long time. The slipstream will definitely become effective for Peter Arundel. Pressuring and posturing his Porsche 992 into the right place at the right time should Jaden Harrison have to serve another slowdown penalty. Battle for the lead of this event is still very much up for grabs. Although with Jaden Harrison at the wheel of P1, you would think otherwise. Not with 6 minutes left to go by the time the drivers cross the line. .151.4, 150.3. That tells the whole story on that previous lap. 0.3 now is the section difference between Jaden Harrison and Peter Arundel's Porsche 992s. Drivers fluttering their brake bias a little further back to get additional rotation on the cars, and this might be the way that Peter Arundel likes to drive his Porsche, and maybe not suiting Jaden Harrison as much as the car gets lighter, really turning that four-wheeler into a bicycle as he attacks the sausage curbs. Meatball flag being shown for Michael Ross. He's into pit row to serve that flag. That should promote Scott Pinero and Amr Hossein into their respective positions. Peter Arundel challenging Jaden Harrison very sternly and aggressively now. Using the slipstream to his advantage, you can see that delta plummet between the two of them coming down the back stretch into the 2/10 mark, leading down into Parabolica nose to tail. And will this be an attacking maneuver going in towards turn one? Only time will tell. He's closer than he ever has been to the opportunity. Jaden Harrison weaving over to the pit wall, weaving back over to the racing line. Arundel closing down the gap, looking towards the inside line right before the braking zone. Follows in single file, though. On the racing line, both drivers go. Gap slinking back and forth right now between the two of them, up to around half a second into the braking zones, back down into a few tenths through the corners. One driver gives, the other driver takes, and then vice versa. Closest battle on track is the one we're watching right now, the battle for P1. Peter Arundel up 2 positions tonight. Jaden Harrison right where he started this event, qualifying in P1. Arundel trying to change all of that up. A big send over the sausage curves for Jaden Harrison could thwart his run down into Curva Parabolica. And you see that delta continue to plummet between the two of them. Was 4/10 at the start. Now it's down to just 3/10, slinking back up into 4/10 margins. Now is the time to strike. Covering off the inside line just a little bit is Jaden Harrison, coming over to the pit wall. And now definitely covering off the inside line strongly down pit rows. And Peter Arundel is going to cook it going into Curva 1. And does not take the chicane. Is going to serve his slowdown penalty and give the lead back up to Jaden Harrison. But if there was ever an opportunity to strike, that was definitely it with 1 lap left to go. Is Peter Arundel's attempt over at trying to clinch P1? He knew that the time was dwindling away from him. With this one plus 1 more remaining in this event, was that his final chance to get by Jaden Harrison? He was by Jaden Harrison, just at the wrong place at the wrong time, off track. Had to give the position back, had to serve the slowdown penalty to boot. But he's a little too far back to make anything work anytime soon. 2.4 seconds with just 40 seconds remaining in this event. This will be the final lap of the session as Jaden Harrison crosses the line. 151.3, 153.5 for the leaders. The man was definitely trying to cook up something. Very cautious into turn 1 this time around. It's all been boiling up to this man's race, though. Jaden Harrison, the 604 driver, DWR SimCoach Setups car, has been running in P1 from start to finish of this event. Started the race in P1, shall finish the race in P1, all things said and done. He's done a phenomenal job keeping it calm, cool, and collected from the green to checkered flag. Keeping it clean through turn 1 time and time again. Finishing the race with 21 off tracks, though. Served definitely a couple of slowdown penalties, I could only imagine. Peter Arundel in P2 started the race in 4th, worked his way forward around Marsan and Declan Daniel. Honorable mention tonight will be Declan Daniel, starting from the back of the pack, working his way up into 5th position, down 3 from where he started the event. Definitely a what could have been or what could have was for Declan Daniel had he not had whatever bequeathed him at the start of the race. But enough about that. It's Jaden Harrison taking the checkered flag, finishing off the event, taking home P1. Peter Arundel crossing the line in P2. Andrew Marsan with a silent but deadly podium into P3. Marsan started the race in P3 and will finish the race under that same condition. Ampanero challenging for a 4th, gains 4 positions on the good. Declan Daniel on the honorable mention of the night into 5th place. Benson Sunday will gain 5 positions tonight as he finishes the race in 6th position. Dominic Charles in 7th position. Monet Duploy into 8th. Oylan Ochoa in 9th. Tahinder Singh in 10th position. Scott Pinero in 11th after that unworldly disconnect coming through turn 1. Super unfortunate to see that go that way. Michael Ross in P12 and Amr Hossein in 13th finishes a lap down. Stay tuned, folks. We're going to get some interviews rearing and ready to go in just a few moments' time. Stand by, and we'll be right back.
Yes, I am. Good night. Good night. It started good. I was in the slipstream with Peter and Jiran. I made a little mistake, and that was it. I couldn't keep up with them anymore, and just held on to the third, to the end. Yes, 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 yes. Very close. Yes, it is. No, I didn't get any slipstream, but I sure some of the guys would have. I would have taken it if somebody was in front, that's for sure. But nah, I didn't get any slipstream for the qualifying. I had to save a little bit of fuel coming out here on the fuel at the pit stop, so I had to save a little bit. I ran out of fuel on the line, so just barely made it into the place. I'll take it.
Almost only counts for grenades and horseshoes. You made it to the checkered flag, so that's all that
Yes, I
matters,
did.
right?
Yeah, correct. That's right. Thank you.
Is there anybody that you'd like to thank or anybody that you'd like to mention before we wrap things up, Andrew?
I think we're good. I just like to thank for this league to be going on, the CRS by CRC. It's quite enjoyable, and hope for some more in the future.
Thank you so much, sir. Really appreciate it. Have a great night, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Let's talk to Mr. Aaron Dell next. Mr. Aaron Dell, are you there?
Yeah, I am here. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I told you I'd talk to you again this week, and here we are back in the booth together.
Yeah, I'm thankful to be here again. That was another challenging race in these cars. I think I owe most of it to the start. I got a really good start off the line, and then got past Andrew into the first chicane. And I was trying to hold on to Jaden as much as possible and save fuel. But in the end, I finally got alongside him and just I think I was focused too much on him next to me on the right side, and I missed where I was supposed to brake. So I locked up going into that first chicane on that lap, and yeah, kind of threw it all away there.
I wouldn't even say threw it all away. I think you're giving yourself a hard time here because you had to stick with Jaden Harrison to even have an opportunity like that. And you did that for 40 minutes straight, Peter.
Yeah, well, I don't know if Jaden was just being extra cautious on the fuel, so he was going a little slower than his maximum pace, but I'm glad I was able to stay within a few seconds of him all the way up to the pit stops and then come back at him with a couple laps to go. But yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. It looked like a lot of fun for sure. It did give you a lot of hope. It gave me a lot of hope as well, watching the race and anticipating that you were going to make a move. Second to last lap, going for a late braking lunge in towards turn 1 at Monza, of all places. I mean, couldn't have asked for a better attempt at thwarting a hat trick victory from Jaden Harrison, but you did a good job. You stuck with him for the majority of the race. You got to give yourself a pat on the back, brother.
Yeah, I'm quite proud of that I was able to keep up with him, and this is not one of my favorite tracks, so I haven't really done many races here, so glad I was able to figure out this car here. And I mean, it's unfortunate what happened to Declan at the start in the chicane. I think he would have been up there challenging Jaden, and if he was pushing Jaden, I'm sure they would have been miles ahead of me.
Yeah, what could have been, what could have was for Declan Daniel, though. I mean, it seems like he just had a poor start. Did you catch what happened to Declan at the beginning of the event?
I know he had some problems getting off the line, and then I guess in the chicane he got a little contact with someone, got spun around, and then but he made his way back up to P5. So
definitely. Definitely my vote for driver of the day for a comeback drive. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Is there anybody that I'd like to thank or anybody that you'd like to mention, Peter?
Just like to shout out Calypso Racing for putting on this league and my family for giving me the time to come and do this race on these Thursday nights. So
shout out to the Arundel
and you for being
family.
such a great commentator for the event.
Thank you so much, Peter. Appreciate you. Have a great night, brother.
You too. Okay. Bye.
Bye. Talk to the man, the myth, the legend. It is Jaden Harrison. We'll keep it brief. We'll keep it short. The driver from DWR Sim Coach Setups had a pretty exciting race, led the race from start to finish under green flag conditions. How does it feel, Jaden, to walk away with P1 at Autodromo Internazionale Monza?
I mean, it feels good. The track I think that was the easiest track on the calendar. Everybody seemed pretty close in qualifying.
Yeah, within 1 second of each other, all the way down to P10, if I'm not mistaken, was a very good qualifying run. Even Declan Daniel almost thwarted your attempts at P1, just being less than a tenth away. Were you nervous at all about Declan's pace?
Declan, yeah, a little bit because of the slipstream.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
Well, fair enough there, Jaden. Anything else that you'd like to mention as part of your race? We pretty much wrapped up everything with everybody else there. And is there anybody that you'd like to thank or anybody that you'd like to mention?
Yeah, I guess my team, again, they're having the car on the track and we're going fast. So, yeah, that's good. I mean, even though winning, 3 out of the 4 races, still only not that far heading the championship over everybody. So it's still pretty close. One mistake in one race and that's it in these short championships.
Yeah, it's really looking close and spicy. We'll get a race review and we'll take a look at the championship standings for the next event for sure. But for now, thank you very much for joining me. Really appreciate you, sir. Have a great night, my friend.
Yes.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us. Thank you very much for staying tuned. It's been a pleasure to be your host. As always, I'm Sagar Bakshi, a.k.a. The Real High. Thank you very much to Silver Turkey in chat. Thank you very much to Star Just Star. Thank you very much to Kev Fev, as well as whoever messaged me in Discord telling me my microphone was muted. Appreciate all the love and support that you guys give me here on the broadcast channel. Appreciate all the love and support you guys give to Calypso Racing. Don't forget to like, subscribe, ring the bell if you watch from green to checkered flag, folks. It's been a pleasure to be your host, as always. We'll see you next week at Watkins Glen, folks. Have a great night, and as always, make sure you stay safe out there. Bye-bye.